Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also, know on this channel, I like deep within the reading, so I do look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play it as karmic themes. This will allow you to understand why your person's doing what they're doing. Very important. When a person wears masks and creates illusions, we know what we feel, but we begin to question what we feel because the person is showing us something that really isn't in alignment. So, understanding why we're pulling a person to us that's not transparent is important. Understand we're magnets for people and situations and experiences that are going to teach us spiritually. So we all have a dust part of self, and that's the ego part of self. And we also have a higher self. The higher self is God part of self that's made up of the universe. It's the energy of unconditional love. That's really our natural, given born energy, right? The energy that we're born with. What happens is the world conditions us, our family conditions us, and then we form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with those perceptions. So these readings, when I say that they go in deep, I'm looking at again the behaviorisms, and I'm looking at what why you're attracting this person into your life, because a lot of times once you learn what the spiritual lesson is, you see the person differently. That karmic cord that's draining your energy, when it's a karmic person, a person that doesn't want to step it up, that cord, when it drains your energy, how to cut that cord. A lot of times people are like, I can't cut the cord and know that the person isn't good for me. A lot of times too, if it's a karmic where the karmic wants to step up, but they might not know how to step up. Again, if they were conditioned in an environment that made them perceive that love wasn't possible for them, that they couldn't be transparent, that every time they voiced their opinion, they got shut down, yelled at. You don't know what they've gone through, not meaning that you have to put up with shit. But there's many different realities that play it at one time. Your level of consciousness depends on your core beliefs. So how do you deal with the situation? So if your core beliefs are, I really can't have a relationship, and you're going to come from a place of fear, well, that's what you're going to manifest. However, if you're dealing with someone that is not emotional transparent, but you are intuitive, you're able then to talk to this person in a way that they don't get triggered. You're able to create intimacy with that person, because intimacy at its most basic level is trust. And that's really what it is. It's trust. Yeah, we think of intimacy in the bedroom, but what happens is if there's no trust, there's no bedroom, really, because over time, then no one wants to be with anyone. And so this is why karmic situations actually happen. It's because, again, at the most basic, fundamental level of trust, the person was betrayed at a young age. And why you're attracting that person many times is because you hold the same energy that you were betrayed at one time. So it's not that you're deserving of a person that does it. Now, I always like to put that out there. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you got to like the video, subscribe to this channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is always on the first card that I pull out. It's the underlining energy that tells us why everyone's doing what they're doing. All right. Don't forget to write the word in the video and then to email me if you see the word winner underneath. All right, because I am not going to reach out to you. You have to reach out to me so we can figure out the day and time that works best for both of us. And also know that all readings are done live. If you want it private, you can send me your questions the day before. All right, the word of the video is perfectionism. Perfectionism. I want to pull another one too, but you can just write the one word. It's funny. Virgos seem to, again, be perceived as perfect. And if anything, I think that we're a lot of times like a little insecure. It's like, and people don't see that, and they don't see it because we're really hard on ourselves. And so when we're doing something that we love, where or whenever we're connected to anything that we love, we're hyper focused on it. And so we are able to see things from every single perception. So things tend to look easy for us when it's not that it's easy for us. And I feel like you're connected to someone that also has this energy, but they're not a Virgo. And it's like they have to give the persona, and they're very hyper aware of what other people perceive of them. So that's a problem. And it's because everybody's kind of in their ego. And even though you're like, I'm not really in my ego because I'm like, want to be perfect, is that there is no perfect. Though your ego is telling you like you're not good enough, even though you don't, again, you may not say, I don't really go around saying I'm not good enough. But if you're that hard on yourself, it's still like a low energy where everyone has their unique unfoldment process. There is no perfect because not one size doesn't fit all for everyone. So understand holding on to the same energy, like you both have the same energy where I feel like you're both holding back. You both can be stubborn. You both are like, well, when you want something, you both go after it. There are a lot of the same energies. However, I feel like you're very different at the same time. Yeah, like you're a creator. And in the fact that you're a creator, again, it looks like life is easy because you're intuitive. It's that you kind of really walk a spiritual walk. Whatever you do, meaning every day you put it in God's hands. You don't try and control where. Feel like the person that you're connected to does not put it in God's hands. They're more of a I like to control. I like to control. I like to dominate. So again, there's a fear, but not with you. You don't have that, but you tend to be hard on yourself. And why I'm saying this is it's almost like I feel like this person is watching you, and they see this creative energy, and it's almost like they're mesmerized. Why? Because it's like I feel like this person watches you on social media. So if you post up pictures, if you have a platform, whatever you're doing, this person is watching you. And so again, you're what it is you're not paying attention to this person. And in the fact that you're not paying attention to this person, it's making this person also feel insecure. Now, I also want you to know when a person wants to be seen as perfect, a lot of times they're holding on to shame. And shame is like, I feel inadequate. I feel like there's something wrong with me. And so, again, they overcompensate in what they want people to perceive from the outside. So, this is again the energy. And why I say it again is because I just feel like this person's not going to give you that much. They're not going to be, because they're going to have a real hard time in being transparent because they're judging who they are, where I don't feel like you judge who you are. It's like because you, again, you put it in God's hands, you have a lot of creative energy. You might be very perfectionist when it comes to your craft, but you're not that person that needs to control everything. So it's a different type of energy. Now I feel like again, when you were dealing with this person, they never again would be transparent with you, and you felt like you were alone. You felt like you were very alone in the connection, like you were putting in most of the effort. They weren't giving that much back. They weren't being transparent, but there was still this spiritual connection, but it made it you feel almost even more alone because you're like, well, it shouldn't be. I know that this person is deliberately holding back from me. It shouldn't feel like this. And I feel like this person, I feel like actually you got caught up. You had a blind spot. You got caught up in the whirlwind of like their emotional, like they came in hard, they came in strong, they came in like passionately. and that was kind of missing from your life. So there was a blind spot, and that blind spot is that it's like you were caught up in the feeling that this person, and again, that spiritual connection. And so when we have that, we don't really see things from really a balanced perception. We're seeing things from what we're lacking in, what's missing. So I feel like that's, you thought that this person was someone else, when you met them. And because it's, again, you were looking at them through your wound. But then this person kept like not being transparent. They're like held secrets, and you didn't really know why they were so secretive. Like, are you talking to someone else? Are you, but then you're like, you can't really be talking to someone else because you're giving me a lot of time. You're giving me time, like talking on the phone. Like there was a sense that you felt like you would know if someone was there. But I think what you didn't realize is that if someone was there, it was because you didn't feel them because they were detached from that person. And that happens when a person is in a relationship where intimacy problems have like happened a long time ago, but the relationship is just dead, and so wouldn't feel the person there. And so what it was is that this person didn't never really wanted to face their issues, and there was a part of you that, even though you felt like this person was holding back, you kept kind of giving them chances. And I feel like it's the way that they came in strong. There was a connection. You were missing that aspect in your life, that passion in your life, like, and that love really in your life. And so you didn't want to face certain things. Like, I think that you saw certain red flags, but you kind of gave this person second and third chances, and not realizing how broken this person is. And so what they would do also is that they would try to, like, they would try to make plans with you. They would try to, but then they would never keep anything. They never kept any of their promises because they could feel that you were getting nervous. They were, or not nervous, but angry, really, because you're like, why are you holding back from me? Why do I feel like you're really just surface with me? I don't understand. And really, it's because this person is broken, and in that they couldn't really be consistent. And the reason why they can't be consistent is because they have commitment issues, and they have commitment issues because of past relationships. So this person comes in for really hard, and they come in usually for a good time, not a long time. Now, I mean, that's normally how they play it. Now, I feel like I want to look and see what kind of spiritual connection this is, or what this person feels, or what they're going to do. Something. It's like, because we see, okay, that's the way that they treated the connection, but we don't really understand why. It's like this person listens to other people. Again, they're not really secure. They feel like that there's a very strong spiritual connection. Now, for some of you, this person really does feel like you're like their heart and their soul, like they feel that soul connection. Now, there you might be like, this person didn't give enough time. I feel like this person is so detached and broken that they had a relationship with you in their mind. And you can do that by like feeding the connection, because there was a sense that this person wanted to hold on. And so you might say, well, they didn't treat me that way. No, this person knows that you are like a soulmate, because you show up in their dreams, and it helps them process buried memories. So you are a soulmate relationship. There is a very strong connection. Now this person feels like they're healing. And I say that because they feel like this journey is teaching you both the importance of being patient, the spiritual lessons of being patient and learning, because there's still a spiritual energetic cord that you and this person have, regardless of the fact that you're in separation. It's like, and that is of unconditional love. So even if it's a past life karmic mate, this person, again, still feels the energy of love. However, it's making them like heal, it's making them evolve, it's making them do things that they wouldn't normally do. This person didn't really want to I feel like really ever really wanted a relationship, and now they're accessing past life wisdom, and it's helping them to understand things from a new perspective. And that's because you're in. And so you may say, like, well, the person's not spiritual. And I think that that's the thing. This person lived mainly from a very left brain ego, strategizing, I don't want a relationship way. And then what happened is it's like they met somebody that had the same type of energy as they did. And they feel like, well, I can actually be in a relationship with you. But they didn't really look at that until after you were gone. And the thing is, you're not affected by it. There's a sense that you're creating. There's a lot of creative energy. So your mind can't be in two places at one time. So ESP is through the heart and mind, right? So this person still can feel you, but understand they feel that the energy is a lot different. They don't realize again that your mind can't be in two places at one time, but when they tap in, they don't really feel as comfortable as they used to because you're not around, right? So it's making this person really have to think about you. And it's why I say that is because they don't have control over love. They don't have control over like their feelings. This person tries to control their feelings, but they don't have control over their feelings. And that's the moral. It's like this person is like realizing what a spiritual connection actually is, because it's like, why did you show up in my dreams? The dream doesn't even need to make sense. It's like, but why are you showing up in my dreams? Why am I accessing past life memories? Like I'm seeing deja vu. I feel like I've been through this before. And spirits say, you have. You haven't passed the test with this person in the past lifetimes. That's why they're showing up in this lifetime. But understand, and that's to really learn what unconditional love is. That's part of it. There's a lesson to be learned from this. I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. That they're like, it doesn't logically have to make sense. It's a spiritual connection. And the spiritual connection is, I'm not looking for a relationship. I don't want a relationship. I want to play the field. Someone comes into your life, and now it's like, wait a minute, no, I want to do this, I still want this. But then what happens is it this person begins to say, well, why don't I want a relationship? Well, what happened in the past? And all these buried subconscious memories of trauma that this person has collected over their lifetime and the many lifetimes, are coming to the surface, because really they're cutting themselves off from love. Love that's impossible, because you're made up of love. Love is the energy that is of the higher self, the God part of self, the deity part of self, the part of self that connects us to each other. That when you meet a soulmate, you're like, that person feels familiar, that person feels like home. It's that type of energy. So it's impossible. And so it's kind of like a little bit like a mind fuck to this person, because it's like it's a lesson, and this person likes the challenge, because again, they tend to be a little bit of a player. So they like that challenge. And there's mystery to you. There's mystery because you're not an open book. You're in your realm, you're creating. So do you even know what you're doing? No. When you're innovating, you're creating. It's like, and it's a co-creation process. And of course it is. The universe is involved in this connection. So again, so you are co-creating. Now it meant that you had to cut your energy off from this person because they were toxic in the beginning, playing a lot of games, not wanting you to focus on the shit that you need to focus on. It's like that person's never met anyone like that. They're usually like, I'm a player and people usually chase me. Like, how come you're not chasing me? Again, making them look like, the crazy thing is making them look at themselves and saying, well, every relationship people tend to come in and pretend that they're one person and then they're really somebody else. Or people always come in and they try to make me into like whatever it is because this person tends to have their own process. Not like they wouldn't want to be in a connection. They don't want to get into a relationship with someone that doesn't have anything going on in their life, where they tend to always attract very codependent people because they're a low vibration. So here it is. I assume that you were the same, but you're not the same because you're not chasing them. Not saying, hey, listen, you need to fix this. And how did you treat me? You shouldn't have treated me this way. You're not doing any of that. You're like, oh, you're not just, they love you. You're not going to be with me. It's like, that kind of sucks a little bit, but you're like, oh, well, I'm going to get on with my life. It's like this person's not used to that. So what they feel is that their energy is stagnant. They're like, the energy is stagnant and I'm not used to having to come back to anybody. So I don't really know what to do. And you're not doing anything. I'm used to the person again coming back and fixing it. It's like, again, codependent. That's like this person. So they're trying to figure out a way to come back without being transparent, which again is not really going to work. But this is how this person, that they have a spiritual block, how they get in their own way. They're like, I can't really be transparent because if I get rejected, well, that's what they're thinking about. But really, what they're focusing on is getting rejected, and by not being transparent, they will most likely be rejected. This is again a spiritual block in the making right now. So what this person is strategizing right now, and they're saying, our energy is stagnant. So I'm going to create triggers happen to break the stagnancy, and they help the energy flow again. So this person will literally like cause a fight with you. Like instead of being transparent, what they're going to do is they're going to like hit a nerve. They're going to say something that purposely tries to make you feel bad. So again, they're coming from a low vibration because they can't communicate and they're not used to being put in this position, and they're a little annoyed that they're put in this position because it's uncomfortable for them. It's like, but healing doesn't feel good. These feelings overwhelm me and I become afraid and I run away from you because of it. It's again, so like I said, that's this energy. It's like this person's immature. It's like I need for you to chase me. I need for you to like make me feel desirable. And that's again, I told you this person's codependent. So that what does that mean? It means that emotionally they don't know how to entertain themselves. And here it is, you're entertaining yourself, you're in this energy. This person gets their entertainment from again hanging out with lower vibration, but people that they don't really want to hang out with. People that, like, I'm going to hang out with you. You don't really have a life. You're going to come into my life and disrupt my life. This is how this person sees things. So, and here it is with this energy with you. It's real. It's like, this shit's real. This shit's real. This shit didn't even make sense 5 minutes ago. Before you came into my life, this didn't make sense. That like love was a fallacy. It's that people, they hook up and it lasts for a few months and then it's over. And it's because of this, where this person is like, I feel like it could actually be in a relationship with you. Who am I? Like this situation is happening because of the both of us. Yeah, so both of this person. My question is, could he literally skip me? Well, listen, I feel like the situation is happening because of the both of you. I feel like I'll answer your questions after, Gabby. So The planets are activating us to heal and bring us closer together, surrender to the changes. So this person is learning. It's like they are healing. They are like it, but they were on a very low vibration when you met them. It's like, and it's not like they're not fighting with their ego right now. They are, but this person is also still very insecure, and they're still having a hard time being transparent. I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid. I don't know whether you want to hear from me or if I can say the right thing. So this person again, it's a hard time communicating. They'd rather start a fight with you, get underneath your skin. Oh, look, that, see, you're getting mad, so I guess you care about me. See, okay, that's good. Where it's like low vibration, immature energy, and it's because they have never like been put in this position before, where usually people give in, people don't hold back. Usually they don't care. There's not a spiritual connection. So I don't care. I get over you. This person never expected to have the feelings for you, number one. Number two, they weren't looking for it. Number three, it's like they've never had to. Number four, their core beliefs about really what love is. Five, they've never had a spiritual connection before. So they're learning. It's making them dive deep into themselves. So we know that this person was very surface. They cared a lot about what it looked like from the outside. They put a lot of attention. Again, that's how this reading started. Remember, they were very perfect. They want to be seen as perfect. And it doesn't mean that they don't put the effort in. They put in a lot, but they waste a lot of time. You see, because there is no such thing as perfect. Like we all have our own unique unfoldment process. You're showing this thing that you can actually fill your own cup, that you don't need them to fill your cup, and your life is fun. And when you're in that creative energy, there's passion. Life looks easy. How do you get to by? It doesn't seem like things bother you. It's like usually when I play my games, it bothers everybody. Why doesn't it bother you? There must be something wrong with you. Why do I have feelings? What is this? It's again making this person dive deep, go into the spiritual realm. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to show you anything on the outside. They'll be damned. They drop dead before show you because, again, they have a hard time being transparent. They're insecure. I don't know whether you want to hear from me or want to, but it's like you probably don't want to. And you terrify the shit out of me because I've never felt these feelings before. It's like, I don't know whether I can say the right thing. It's like, but they're not showing you that. So part of them going surface a lot was, it's like, I can't be perfect. I don't know what to say. Their self-image. I care more about the self-image. If I show you who I really am, you're not gonna like me. You're just not gonna like me. It's like because I don't really like me, and that's really what it's about. They've created a persona, but you see, we had to go down the rabbit hole. This person has to go down the rabbit hole in order to like really like understand why they do what they do. Otherwise, it's like it's sabotaging behavior, and then you just fear of change again, and that's a real root chakra imbalance, and that's I was never really supported, so I don't really I focus more on survival and emotional survival as well, so because I don't really believe that I can have it because it wasn't there, because again the roots were broken, and that's family, ancestry and like stuff, and in that they're still walking around with that with those wounds, and they become paranoid, and that's from trauma. It's that you're not present. You're paranoid about what other people are thinking, what other people like. I gotta look perfect. I gotta like. You're not gonna like me, and really, that's what's underneath it all, and that's what's influencing your relationship with this person, and why your relationship looks the way that it does. And so, understand it'll make you paranoid. It'll make you paranoid being with this person because you'll be like, I don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. I don't understand what this is. And I feel like they focus way too much on the sex. They're like hyper sexual. Well, it's their way of connecting. It's like because they are attracted to you, but understand then if that's all that the relationship is, they weren't never allowing themselves to go deep within the relationship surface with other people. So it was sex, and then over, after a certain amount of time, no matter how great it is, it becomes boring because there's nothing else that like in the relationship except for that. With you, this person knows that it's like it would be everything. Like it's again that there's an emotional connection because there's a spiritual connection, that they see that you're a lot of alike in the aspect of like perfect. So again, this person does try to put 100% into the things that they do. It's just whatever they're doing isn't really fulfilling them. And so there it's more again about the appearance from the outside, where you're not living from the outside, you're living from the inside. So understand now, a lot of times it's a woman's job to bring a man to God. Well, I believe it's also, it could be vice versa. And that's through finding yourself through the energy of unconditional love. Again, that's what's happening here. So again, this person is used to relationships. Well, relationships don't last. There's no such thing as love. It's hot and passionate for a while, but then it's it's done and over with, and it's not with this. And so this person played a lot of games, again, where they would put themselves in competition with other people, past relationships. They might even still be insecure when they come in back into your life, because I can guarantee that they're going to make their way back into your life, even though they have to figure out how they're going to come back from the betrayal that they gave. And so, because they are reflecting on what they did, otherwise, spirit would never let this person come back into your life. So, it's not just what they did, but see, is making them have to come back and humble themselves. You have to surrender your ego, is what the universe is saying. It's like that's got to go. You've created too much, like too many walls, due to that survival, due to whatever you've gone through within your life. And so, with you, again, they're accessing this past life memories, and again, it's a very spiritual thing. So you're not seeing much on the outside, whether you're not seeing this person do anything on the outside, because a lot of what's happening is happening on the inside, where this person is actually diving deep within inside of themselves, which is what healing is all about. This person never cared before. It's like it's a feeling of I can't control this feeling. I can't detach and disassociate from this feeling. Well, again, that's what the universe does. The universe brings us people, situations, and experiences that help us come back to wholeness, which is, again, unconditional love. This person has shadows all over the place. They're so insecure. Again, where they get in their own way, they self sabotage, they betray, and then they act like a victim. Because I don't know why, but with this situation, it's like it's making them change, it's making them, but it's also making them like look at everything from every single perception. But this person does have addictions, and part of the reason why their process is going slower is because, well, I feel like when they're going deep, there's a lot of wounds there. It's hard for them to, again, really look at the situation. It hurts. They're realizing, like, not just things about you, but about their entire life. And it's like it's hard to take responsibility for. This person has had a long history of using people, pretty much, and then not really manifesting good karma because of it. If anything, they feel like they're not loved, that they couldn't have love, that it was non-existent, that didn't really happen. So we have to look and see what this person's going to do. because we really don't need to look at the triggers for you. I can pull one, but it's like, again, that they weren't really there. They came in and out of your life a lot. It's, again, gave you a lot of mixed messages, triggered your abandonment issues. Well, I feel like they're in a place of self-improvement. They're in a place of healing and learning about, everything that we just talked about pretty much spiritually. And they're contemplating, like you said, still going within. So you're not going to see a lot of movement because they're in a healing phase right now. It's like one that they did not volunteer to go into either. It's like, again, the fact that you detach from this person. It's time for action, but it should be happening soon. I would say within the next 3 weeks, or this person feels like that time is coming up, like that they've done enough healing. But I feel like they're healing. So if they haven't come to you, or they're not, it's like, I would say within the next few weeks. And what you're gonna notice is that they're gonna be a lot more refined. It's, again, more like, and more healed, more there's because they have been doing the work, so they're gonna appear a lot more humble, is what I would say, and that's how you're gonna know. And there's gonna be like a purity to them, like refinement, like where you're like you've improved yourself. And this person really does want to heal, and they do see you as a soulmate. It's like they're just insecure. They're insecure, but they're breaking free of like their old patterns. And the thing with you is you make them feel young, which, understand, soulmate energy always does. Why? Because it's like the person has butterflies. It's like, it's exciting, like you give energy, because when it's a soulmate and there's a connection, that's what it is. It's the person feels like home. That's the energy of love. And like, it feeds this person. It's giving them the strength. It's really giving them the strength to do it, to heal. Like, hey, there could be a better life for me. I don't need to stay detached and disassociated my entire life due to whatever it is that has happened in the past. Like, it actually could be something. And this person wants romance. They want love. It's, again, you elevate their mood. I told you it's the thought of you. It's the thought. It's like, and so it doesn't mean that they have courage. They're scared. So, again, but it's like exciting too. Like, I don't really know how you're going to respond, but if there's a real connection, then, it'll work out, is what I feel like this person is holding on to. Because they know that there's a lesson, like that you're supposed to be in their life. They wouldn't that wouldn't have happened. It's like, again, the situation is like provoking them to heal. And so I would say, again, that they're going to be really unpredictable while they're in this phase. But understand, it's all about igniting their spiritual healing, because this person was very detached. They were very, and it's because, again, I feel like there's a lot of pain from the past where this person was punished, they were mocked, they were ridiculed, they were betrayed. So what you're seeing is somebody that, like, kind of can betray all those same energies, but it was done to them over and over and over and over again. And it's making this person go back to that energy, and then also bring them back to, like, again, a source, which is spirit. Okay, so they're seeing the big picture now of their trauma, right? It's like, so where before, when you go through the situation, you see things from a like a limited perception, and it's I'm bad, or that happened because there's something wrong with me. Again, you put labels on it. But when you're able to look at the situation from the big picture, which is like there really is spiritual lessons and spiritual soulmates and people that teach us. There's a bigger reason to why we're down here, more than whatever like little issues that we've done. That this person was making it all about themselves, and it's like they're healing. They're seeing things from a different perception, and they're looking for serendipity. They believe that, again, that spirit is guiding this connection. That's what they believe. It's like because they see it, it's like on a psychic level. So I don't know whether this person is manifesting you back because they're thinking about it a lot, and they're asking for signs from the universe, and the universe is again sending them serendipities. It's again, this person feels like the perfect timing is going to help out, that it's a godsend, that God's hand is in this, that they're going to be able to manifest it. It doesn't logically make sense. This person has to believe that in order for them to manifest. And they believe that they wouldn't be, reflecting. They never thought that they were going to have this type of feeling before. They're figuring it out. This is new territory for them. Literally, it's new territory. They don't know. They don't, it's again, there's not like a plan. They're trying to like read the signs and the symbols, and they're figuring it out. So that's why I said this is what they want. Now we have to say again, like whether or not you want this could be something completely like, no, I don't want it after everything that they did, you know, and that would be their karma. It's again, this is a general reading. So it's like for some of you guys would want this, and others of you would not, However, the person's coming back different. And that's the whole thing. So they would know that it's their karma for treating you bad. And that's, you'd be the one that got away. You'd be the one that, again, but if it's a real connection, well, then what'll happen is, yeah, see, it's like this person believes that it's again, amid uncertainty, love has the power to rebuild trust. The person so like is like, I believe that that we can fix this. But understand they had to they needed to be a tower moment in order for them to really start over. And that's what they feel like they went through, a tower moment. It's just don't get caught up in the romance. Like this person tends to get caught up in the romance, but it's like they want they want more than a romance. That's why they know. And where normally they don't look at it in a relationship as anything except for the sex or relationship, that love doesn't really exist. Yeah, the butterflies happen in the beginning, but it doesn't last. This is like where this person was not feeding the connection. They weren't doing anything, and their feelings were growing stronger and stronger and stronger. They had no control over it. It's like I said, and they're seeing signs where this person isn't a spiritual person. It's not like they asked for this connection. And that's what's like, again, why they feel like there's something to be learned from this. Like it doesn't logically make sense. And the irony is this person is strategic. They are not someone that is intuitive, because again, the intuitive nature makes them like tap into their emotions, and they don't really want to do that unless, of course, it's to manipulate somebody else. So here it is, they're seeing that they're acting different with you, like you're making them into a better person, like where it's like, again, who am I? Who am I couldn't be faithful to you, in my heart and my soul at the time. So it's, again, they couldn't because they weren't ready. They weren't ready. It's like this person said, I knew couldn't really walk away, and I really couldn't walk away because I would just need someone to get over you, and then your energy would always come back. So it's not like this person didn't try and get over you. Again, they were not into this. They were not into this relationship. They didn't want this relationship. What happened is like they continually needed someone to get over you. And then what happened is their feelings for you would come back. And not only would their feelings come back, but they would be stuck with a crazy person. Someone that, again, was their biggest fear, someone that was trying to control them, someone that wanted to use them, someone that, it's again, and they're like, I'm running from a connection. It's like where this person was like, I have things to deal with before I can fall in love again. At the time, they thought that they can control it. Like, it's not the right time. Come back next Tuesday. It's like where spirit's like, no, it's now. And it's now because there's a bigger reason to the relationship. So again, does not going to logically make sense. It's because there's a spiritual connection, the divine's involved. Now we have to say, again, collective reading. Some of you guys will want it, some of you guys won't. But the bigger picture, really, that we want to know for you is, why would you attract this person into your life? What are you supposed to learn? You're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. And what we saw is that this person played a lot of games in the beginning. Yeah, okay, so now they're healing, and it pushed them into a place of healing. But spirit never just makes one person heal. It's always what's best for everyone involved. And it's all about, both of you evolving back into the energy of unconditional love. So first card out. Now these are the inner child cards, by the way. And so the inner child cards, what you'll see is the wounds that happened in childhood, but those karmic themes from those wounds continue to play out in future relationships, creating very similar, karmic experiences. One where that is what gives us the core beliefs, makes up the, like, no, I really can't have it because this is what happens, or no, see, there is something wrong with me, or there's not enough, or lack, limitation, takes us away from abundance, takes us away from the energy of unconditional love. And this energy, the number one, rage, trauma. Those are not good cards. Like you know what I mean? It's like we're looking at, how did you manifest this person into your life? Why would this person have shown you that energy to begin with? Water, magic, vulnerability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more makes 6. Truth. And then I would like to pull from. Now, did I lose it? I probably lost because I have cards everywhere. It's like I'm the messiest reader in the world, because I like to I have cards everywhere. Oh, I found them. I never took them out of the bag. All right. So we're going to pull 2 from this deck, 2. And this is, you don't have to face things alone. That's that one, the tribe, and limited potential. All right. So how we know that we integrate a spiritual lesson is we see how we contributed to the imbalances. And what it just was that you didn't know who this person was. You perceived that they were someone else. Then they played a lot of games. Who, no one, no, this person came on strong. They came on like, again, you had a blind spot because you were in a desert. This person, again, and there's a soul connection. So you thought that they were someone else. You didn't realize that they had all this trauma from past relationships. So you saw that, but because you saw that, you detached from this person, and really, that's said that right then and there is when you passed your spiritual test. Looking for these cards now. Okay, so growing up in a very tumultuous environment, and it could be that your mom or your dad had a very like bad temper, like they had every little thing triggered them. And so understand back in the day, our parents didn't have spiritual healing. So they didn't know that they projected a lot. They didn't know that, again, that they inherit the same behaviorisms that their, parents had. Unfortunately, a lot of our parents and a lot of our grandparents grew up like when there were wars going on, like a long time ago, our ancestors lived in situations where they were betrayed, where they were victimized. So of course they had rage because it made them step out of their true self. They weren't free. And so again, the rage. So that is an energy that, believe it, is passed down. So having a parent that just deals with everything from anger. That's the way that they dealt with everything. Every little thing was a trigger. So again, they were angry. They didn't heal their life. They looked at things from a very negative perspective. They didn't have gratitude. They were always worried about what would happen, what could happen. They judged their life and they judged you, and they had a lot of rage. So again, that trauma, it was psychological, but it was really emotional. It's like because as a child, like you were terrified of the person that should be giving you, comfort, making you feel safe. So again, because of the trauma that they've inherited. So understand, when you grow up in a place of survival, you become very overly sensitive. And it's because part of the survival mechanism is to have hyper awareness, right? You have to, like, if someone's going to be angry and rageful and you're afraid of that person, well, you're going to notice footsteps, whose footsteps are whose, like what's happening in your environment to be safe. You become, it's just a what winds up happening. So you grew up that way. So you're an empath and you're a truth speaker and you're someone that lives by your truth. This person didn't realize that. They never met a person that was a truth speaker, meaning why you're here. So you might be an earth angel that you're like, I know why I'm here. I know what I'm supposed to do. And I do it within my own way. It might not mean that I practice healing, but I do it in my own way. I contribute to humanity in my own way, that you're a truth speaker and you hold magic, because the child that survives thrives, and they thrive through the creative mind, through the psychic mind. It's not a logical thing. It's a spiritual thing, because again, children can't run away from a parent that's rageful and angry. They have to just sit there and take it. And so what happens? They check out. They disassociate, they detach. And so they also become highly sensitive due to, again, the environment, but they get their magic from that. And they get their magic from that because they're able to then draw upon the universe to be able to know how to read what goes on in the universe by being grounded, being led by the signs and the symbols themselves, but also through the creative mind, the psychic mind, the genius part of self, which again is what is so tantalizing to this person, which they're like, you're not running after me. I'm curious, what are you doing? Like, why aren't there must be something wrong with you? Everybody runs after me. Like, what are you doing? It's like you don't need this person. You can fill up your own cup. That's very triggering for this person because it's like I've never seen it before. But it's triggering not really in a bad way. It's making them go deep within inside of themselves. They didn't volunteer to go inside themselves. They also didn't volunteer to have feelings for you. But again, this energy of, being a truth speaker, an empath, and again, your magic, it tells me again highly sensitive, but you are not allowed to show vulnerability. And so you attracted someone again that you were not allowed to show vulnerability. And so what happened is like you said, pretty much, well, this isn't for me because I can't really be my true self. You're not letting me be my true self. I have to like dumb me down, or I have to, not say anything when you're not really treating me well. And so again, you said, no, I'd rather connect with like my people that I vibe with, It's like I don't really have to be alone because guess what? I grew up where I was alone. This is you, Virgo. I grew up without support. See, I grew up in that. I don't have to do that now because, I connect with people through what I do, through what I love to do. And in that, Spirit says exactly, and that you have limitless potential, and you know that. And it's like the only limits that you have are the ones that you put on yourself. And so this person tried to actually put those limits onto you, which understand if you grew up in an environment where that like you were traumatized, well, guess what? You would a lot of times have also those limits onto yourself due to again just inherited karma of what you were taught, being conditioned in an environment with someone that's rageful, that judges everything, that's not happy with their life. We tend to take on those same behaviorisms. So having to really heal and clear. And so you might say, well, I had healed a lot, so I don't really still understand why I attracted this person. And Spirit says, you always have to pass the spiritual test. See, integration happens in the mind, but you have to embody the new consciousness. So you're going to get the test. I want to see you again deal with this situation. I want to see you deal with the situation differently again than how you would deal with the situation when you grew up in survival. It's again where what you did was you didn't give it any energy because it's again this energy is too would keep me in a place of anger because this person doesn't believe that they're deserving of love, that doesn't believe in love. Well, clearly that would not keep you in a good place, because it would mean that they would never be transparent. You had no choice but to leave this person. You had no choice to be, and you did show vulnerability because what you're saying is like, I'm not staying here for this. I know what I'm deserving of, and I want love. I deserve love, and I believe in love. So I'm doing that, and you poured that love into yourself, and Spirit said that's what you needed to do. You needed to pour the love into yourself. Why? Because again, look at the environment that you grew up in. Look at the people that you have dated. Look at again how you've undervalued yourself. Look at again, now again it's time to thrive. Now it's time because you had passed all the spiritual lessons. This was the last one. And there was a soul's connection. But this person is, again, not who they claim that they were, but people usually try to make this person after they show their true self, after they already had the love affair. You see, people always tend to try to get the person to revert back to who they were originally when they first met them. You didn't do that. Like you did a switcheroony on this person. And again, that's what made this person look. And then they thought you'd be devastated because, hey, everybody loves me. And that's not what happened. It's like you found your magic. And again, this person is like can see your truth, that you really are a truth speaker, that you what you say is really what you do. And that's refreshing because hey, even though they're a player, they deal with a lot of players. So they'll say, well, this is what you're up against. You know, so I have to be that way. There's no such thing as love. It's like, and then the universe came in and said, excuse me, I am love. Like you're stupid. You're made up of love. How can you say there's no such thing as love? Oh, because it doesn't happen. Because of all these other situations. Okay, well I'll bring this person in and you will see about that. This person it shook their world. It's again they're processing, but they know they're gonna move now. They know that they're gonna do this. It's again and it's you probably hear from this person either before the new year, maybe right after the new year, as like a little, and don't expect a grand gesture. They're still insecure. They didn't all of a sudden become somebody else. Remember that. You have the higher vibration. So they'll probably get a happy new year, and if you say a happy new year back, well, then they might be like, okay, now I'm okay to start a conversation. It's like where before they might have reached out and not have even given you the conversation because, again, they're insecure and they care too much about what it looks like from the outside. I'm looking for cards. There they are. And they cared more about the facade because when they go down deep, it's like because you probably won't like who I am. I don't like who I am. Which do you not like who you are, or do you not know who you are? Are you looking at yourself through a different perception? And really, that's what the universe was making this person do. It's like, look at yourself. Look what you're doing. You're repeating the same exact thing that you grew up in. Where spirit says, you may say, well, okay, if I decide to be with this person, how would I deal with this situation? And spirit says balance. And it's like, it's all about you finding balance. And that's, you say, well, that it's not an all or nothing type thing. If this really is a soul's connection and you feel that, again, we can pull like I'll just pull like hidden truth one to see like what you think it is. I feel like, well, this is more about, okay, it's not really telling me. It's like one more. Not really telling me. It's like it's pretty much saying I feel like you're going to try, but you don't know how you feel about this person, is what I'm getting. Because you're like, I don't know. Because all I know is like what they showed me. So if you still have feelings for this person, Spirit's saying it's all about balance. It's not an all or nothing thing. It's about because if you still have feelings, you don't want to cut your nose off to spite your face. So it's teaching you balance. So you would actually have to number one forgive, but this is about you finding balance between every sphere of your life, not becoming codependent, not becoming what this person wants you to become. Remember, they're going to be insecure. It's about becoming the master of your own life. Spirit says, because you grew up with somebody that was very rageful, it's again and scared you. There was a sense that you didn't have control over your own life, like you didn't feel safe in making those decisions. Like you should be a leader, but you weren't like walking like you're a leader. You're like, I'd rather take like again the more humble route. Like it's just where spirit's like no. It's like this about you mastering your own life and taking time to nourish not just your spiritual and the physical, but to bring love to your world by fulfilling the needs of yourself. That it's again, maybe part of you is like, I also really wanted someone to come into my life to give it to me. And Spirit says, yeah, 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 that's because you didn't have anybody as parents to give it to you. So again, you grew up in that trauma. So you would, of course, want them to do. So I'm not going to bring you someone that actually does that for you. And you're like, why wouldn't you bring that? And Spirit says, because you don't need anyone to. You again haven't tapped into your magic. You haven't. It's again, you're manifesting. You're creating. You're innovative. You're getting new ideas. You're creating. You're in a very high vibration. You don't need like this person to give you that emotional support. You needed to learn how to do it yourself. And that is where your strength lies because it's your choice of focus. You're commanding this person to treat you in a certain way. You commanded to say, hey, no, I'm not going to do what you want to do. Look at yourself. I don't know, you didn't say it with one word. Didn't say it with one word, which is what this person wanted. Because then that would have been a self fulfilling prophecy of, yeah, see, everyone comes into my life and tries to control me. But it's again, that's not what happened. So it's again, Spirit saying this was about you seeing that you have domain over your own life because you were balanced. And that's because you were creating, you weren't looking to for this person to bring you that piece of pie. That piece of pie, that's the passion part, that fun part, the part that helps us connect to other people. No, Spirit says, no, that happened through, again, your creating. That's to happen through your path. That's happened because of that. You don't need this person. You're commanding to this person. And it was all about releasing, like don't try and control, which can happen when you get into a relationship like this, especially if you grew up in a place of fear. We tend to want to control, and so we don't feel safe. It's again, if you're very fearful, so Spirit saying, yeah, you had a bad control, you could be controlling also in a way like, I want you to do things a certain way. And Spirit says, oh, that's not going to happen either. Then, if anything, they're going to do everything ass backwards. Yeah, so babe, that love is love, though. That's what you'll discover. And the Spirit says, stop fighting your fears and the hardships of life. Control your thoughts, live in the present moment, and accept each stage of life. Work on what you have power over and put in God's hands what you can't. And trust that everything will work out for the best. Everything is, again, in divine order, regardless of whether you appear to be like, no, I wasn't supposed to get this person. This person's broken. No, Spirit says, no, this person was supposed to show you how strong you are. This person was supposed to show you, again, no matter who comes into your life, it's again that you can be transparent, you can be humble, you can be strong, because you're not relying on anybody for anything because you do it yourself. And that's knowing that God is inside of you. So it's again, as long as you don't abandon yourself, again, like you're going to be tapped into the higher self. And as long as you're in that high vibration, no one can control you. Doesn't matter what the environment does, because you're commanding it, because you're putting more time, more energy, more of all of yourself into where you want to go, what you want to do. And you're only giving this person what they're supposed to be getting, which is not really that much. Again, you create the mystery. Remember, that's how this reading started. It's like, this person's different. I don't know what's going on over there. It's like, why aren't you chasing me? But it's like that everybody chases me. And the Spirit says, yeah, yeah, your ego is a little bit too big for yourself. But I'm going to change that in about 10 minutes from now. It's like, and I'm going to bring this person in. It's again, so that they can actually release whatever those again, those spiritual blocks that they've been holding on to. Yeah, because you need to like humble yourself and release. And your ego is too big, it's blocking you from me, which is unconditional love. It's like you're distorted how you're seeing things. You get too involved in your life. It's like where it's about learning to surrender, not control. So that's how that one ended. Now I'm ready to answer your question. So again, if that's the thing, Gabby, it's like understand there's only one you. So the fact that you're like, I don't really believe that this person would come back to me tells me that they didn't give you that much time. There was a sense of emotionally, you never 100% got what you needed because when you're in a relationship with somebody, and it didn't mean that it wasn't good, it meant that you were too available, gave too much, gave too much too soon. So there's a perception of, I don't really believe that it can happen when Spirit says, there's only one you. And if that person had feelings for you, they were attracted to you. But if there's a sense that there are a lot of other people, well, that's because this person never really 100% committed to you. So there was that energy of, oh, they're probably going to find somebody else. And that's that energy there. So it doesn't mean that this person, I think part of whether you're gonna know is whether the person comes back to you. But if it was real, if it was real, they'll have no control because they will compare you to every single other person that they date. If what you had with them is real, and they don't know what is real. If you know by the story, even in this story, they did not know what was real until the relationship was over. The relationship was over. Okay, bye. You don't want to be with me. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna enjoy my life. And it's like, wait a minute. What you talking about, Willis? Like that wasn't supposed to go down like that. I expected you to like say something. Like you're fine. Like it, it's like this person had to be put in a position that it also meant that they went around and they did date other people. I told you that in the beginning of the story. And they compared. They were like, there's not, I'm still thinking about. I don't have control. When it's real, there's God is involved. It's a divine connection. And a lot of times because Spirit's saying, well, you have spiritual blocks, this person has spiritual blocks. Yeah, it's I'm going to bring you two together because you both are going to be able to heal each other. However, all these relationships are karmic because every single soul relationship teaches. Just the negative relationships are ones that we consider, like, again, past karmic, and it's because the person doesn't want to learn. And then here it is, you're going to be attached to someone that chooses not to learn, so then you're going to reap the negative karmic consequences. That's normally what happens. But if this is a real relationship, then the person will eventually get tired of the casual, because the casual, there's no emotional connection. Why do you think players tend to play? They play because I need you to think I really like you so that you really like me, so that we can create that fantasy where it's, again, after a while, it's like, I've already had the real thing. You see, I already tasted the good stuff. I tasted the good stuff. I can't go back to like the lasagna that's frozen. I had grandma's lasagna. Like, again, that had it was delicious. There's no comparison. It's like I've already slept at the best hotel in the world that had all the amenities. Now I got to go back to like this hotel. It was okay, a hotel. It was nice, but the amenities weren't there. It's like you can tell. That's how. It's like they need to feel that. They need to know without like somebody's just sitting there being like, well, I'm just going to sit here and, you can take your time and figure it out, but I'm just going to be right here waiting for you to come back. Take your time though. Everything is fine. Like, I mean, they're like, yeah, everything's fine. You're like a crazy person. You're like, where's your life? It's like, so if you're sitting there and there's that worry, this person in the story was like, oh, you don't want to be with me? Okay, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to be over here. It's like, oh, that's a bummer, but I'm not going to stay stuck in it. I got people. I have a tribe I can connect to. I have other things that bring my energy up. I'm not, it's like, it's not for me. And so, again, this person was like, again, what? They had to be put in that position. So, that's the thing. If you're feeling like, well, there's 100 other girls, that's because this person was like that, where they had one foot in, one foot out. But if they've invested enough time, and understand, Gabby, just the person thinking about you. It's, again, how much time, energy. Again, person's focus on you is the person can actually believe that they love you, even if they don't love you and they haven't put in any time. Thing is, there would still be intimacy issues. That's what you feel. You never got that. So you're like, oh, there's 100 other people and I was there. And when we had some good times, but now it's like they left you in a place of insecurity, almost waiting for you, like knowing that you'll wait for them to come back. And that's like the spiritual thing. And I can guarantee the more that you go out and have a good time and meet people and find yourself, even though you might not feel like it, would be sooner that this person would actually even come back. Otherwise, they're like, I don't really need to come back because you're not showing them something. And that's really what it is. It's like you have to make an impact. You had to make an impact. There had to be a spiritual connection. So what you're saying is, I don't really feel like there was this. I felt like there was, but what you feel like it was more of a karmic, which is, again, they didn't get safe and they, didn't give me the time. So you won't know, but if it's real, they won't have any control over it. They can hold back for years, a year, 2 years, 3 years, but eventually they'll give in. And usually it doesn't take that long. Just if you have someone really broken and stubborn, it will take like a long time. Or if they're with somebody else and they're trying to, they were comfortable living in that dynamic, and now they're like, now I need to like get out, even though I was living in a loveless connection and got my love on the side. It's, again, they would still, again, love will make a person do things that we wouldn't normally do. Can you read the dynamics with the new guy I am connected with? Is he better for me after I passed the test? I feel like, you know, this person has good intentions. It's not like they don't. However, it's like a lot of people have trauma. So if you're like, after I pass the test, you think you have one test, Amy? You have 100 tests. This person is a spiritual person. So do they have do they have feelings? Yes, they have feelings for you. Do they? Is their intention to get over? They don't know. They don't know. And it's because relationships are something that happen over time. It's like trust is what happens over time. So the key is to stay balanced. And that means not, don't give this person too much. Keep the mystery alive in the relationship. And understand, if a person's going to, in the beginning, have a lot of passion, they're going to want the relationship to go fast. I want to spend every working moment with this person because it gives me energy. But understand, don't hold back a little bit. Why? Because it's how much you give is as big as the whole. Again, that wound. That's number one. And number two, they have to earn it. So it's like you're not understanding is that when you get into a relationship, it's not just about training a person in the beginning. You have to continue to embody who you are so the relationship can go with the flow so that there's flexibility. Otherwise, what happens is there's trust issues, there's this, there's that. Now, do I think that the person's a cheater? No. I mean, they're not they're not dating anyone else at the same time as they're dating you. Um, do they know what they 100% know? It's like the relationship is new, like I said, but are they attracted to? Yes. Do you have the power in your hands to make this relationship work out? Yes, you can, but it depends on that. That also doesn't mean that there's never a fight or there's never little tiny breakups that happen. Those tend to be growing pains. But when you're confident and you're really invested in your life and you create the mystery in your life, this is how you can tell whether a person's a player or not for yourself. Because players don't want to take the time for you to live your life. They're like, no, but it's all about me. You see, I'm coming into the relationship so that I can emotionally get fed, and that's by you feeding me. So yeah, I might have to create the facade a little bit that I'm really like taken with you. However, it's like I'm not going to sit there and deal with your Tuesday night you got square dancing, and Wednesday night you got tango with Juan, and Thursday night you got bingo with Martha. They're not going to deal with any of that. It's like where really it's like you're setting the mark. They're gonna be like, what the hell? It's like because listen, it's like, well, you think I'm gonna drop everything because you're here, and do you think I'm gonna tell you everything about my life, that what has happened to me in the past? Do not. It's like this person hasn't earned that. Doesn't mean that you can't talk about certain things, but we're not going to talk about how all our ex boyfriends cheated on us, hurt us, did us wrong. We're not going to do any of that. We're also not going to say, like the person has to earn. They have to earn that. And it's like you're not saying, hey, you got to earn it. You're not doing that. What you're doing is, hey, like I got a lot of things going on in my life that really feed me. So if you're not feeding me where I'm getting something out of the deal, and that something is emotionally, there's a connection, there's something going on here, there's, getting an orgasm, at least there's something, I'm getting something, but it can't just be an orgasm all the time. It has to be like something. I need to be getting something out of the deal, that where you're actually giving me, that is an equal give and take reciprocity. If it's a player, there's a lot of talk and there's no, so the person showing you and why you, when you're invested in all your stuff that you're doing, you have good perception. You're not so close up to the picture. So you're like, you see, this person normally calls me after square dancing every Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever I said that you go. And you know what, they didn't this week. It triggered my intuition, like that I can kind of feel like this person's getting annoyed. I can kind of feel like where that might prompt you to have a conversation with this person. But if they can't deal with earning their spot in your life, they don't belong in your life. And you're not doing it like, ha ha, I'm holding a carrot over your head and maybe tomorrow. No, you're not doing that. It's like, I'm very invested in my life. And it's like, because I'm trying to always better myself. I'm always like, I like to connect with other people. We spend so much time at work. It's like that you're showing this person, I'm not reliant on you for my emotional well-being. I'm not reliant on you for anything. Meaning I don't want to be like, if I'm with you, it's because I want to be with you. That's number one. And number two, you have to earn your spot. It's like you're not saying that, you're showing the person that. You're always polite and nice and sweet and happy to see that person, but they still got to earn their spot. It's like, because it's how much a person can open their heart. Again, most people have a closed heart because I've been hurt, so I don't want to give. Well, guess what? Then, you got to go eat at Taco Bell because this is a five-star dining place. You can't, come in here with Taco Bell money. And that's not being like, hey, you need to be rich. What it means is how much effort, how much you're giving to the relationship when you spend the time together. But it's also that you don't need this person, especially if the relationship goes intimate and then it's like, I slept with the person, now they're not here. It's again, that's so traumatizing to you. Well, it's not really traumatizing when your life is full. It's like because it becomes very like, it's like compared to everything else. Or you wind up being like, well, I was really bummed out about it. But then, I wound up going to Tango and I met Juan's brother, and Juan's gay. So, I would never be able to hook up with Juan. But guess what? His brother isn't. And it's again, you're like, you forget about it. It's like, that's the whole thing. Yes, Bonnie. I'm glad I'm coming to an end of this one. However, so that's how you can tell that the dynamics of the relationship will be better. You don't lose yourself. You're not emotionally getting triggered by what they do. You know, it's like you're balanced in yourself. So your discernment is sharp. And Virgos, well, we have the best discernment. We're intuitive. And that's so it's like we can see, even if we're like, I emotionally get caught up, it doesn't matter because you're getting that emotional security from other things. And that kind of makes the person like realize that they have to come in and give a little bit of effort, because why are you going to give up, a fun time doing something else? Well, I'm glad that you do noble goodness. I mean, that's what it's about. It's about all about loving yourself and, you're commanding what you want. That's what you're doing, but you're not doing it in a nasty way. You're always polite, always nice, always. And then this way, if a person like tries to come in and knock you off your game too, what happens is you can deal with it with them with humor. You can be sarcastic because you're not going to get triggered because you're like, nah, whatever you just tried to do, that's not me. That's you. Well, again, triggered by your partner, probably because, again, you're making this person have a lot more power in your life. And it's like, well, because I want to get married to this person, or like they're again supposed to act like, well, remember, again, unconditional love, there is no ownership, there is no expectation. It just is. So what it is that you got to fill your own cup up. It's like, so it doesn't mean that you won't get triggered, but the difference is like the way that you get triggered. I also kind of feel like your boyfriend likes to trigger you. Your partner likes to trigger you, you know? So yeah, because it's like I get to see how much you love me. You see, I can make you get crazy. So part of that is, again, if emotionally you're getting what you need, that's a way to like diffuse the situation, because you're putting so much onto this person. It's like, listen, I give you this, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, and this is what you're giving me in return. So that's telling you that's too much. That's number one. And then it's also that you have expectation, which you shouldn't have expectation, because that's the first thing that actually that people feel like, well, you have expectation and it's like you're not letting me have my process. I don't really know what it's going to look like. See, when you're strong within yourself, you don't need that. But then there's also like being that the dynamic is already here the way that you do, you'd have to change you in order to not get triggered. You still always need to change you in order to not get triggered, but that's to see things from a different perception. The only way that that happens is by you changing you. And that's, I think that you need to join other things and not give as much to this person, because you're like, I don't really feel as if you're as committed, and I don't really feel like the person isn't. I just feel like they're immature, and I feel like, they have their own stuff, but it's about you doing more again for you. That's why you liked the advice. You like the advice because you actually need the advice. It feels right. And it feels right because it's not, when you get triggered, there's a sense of wanting to control, right? There's a sense of like, no, you need to, where spirit's like, no, you just need to control yourself. And when you control yourself, that person has unconditional love for you. They will then show you, like, No, again, but you're again commanding it, but you're not saying you need to, because the moment that you say you need to, you can might as well, it's not going to happen. What it happens is that you need to be like, I don't need it from you. It's like, but understand their ego then gets offended because then they know that you're going to get it from somebody else and do it. And you're not being manipulative if you're saying, well, listen, I wanted to take this public speaking course, or I wanted to take that spiritual class. Or I want, well, we don't do anything on Tuesday nights. You don't even call me on Tuesday to let me know whether you're around. So what the hell do you care whether I'm around? All of a sudden, this person might again show a little bit more. You'll know because they'll show you a little bit more attention, or what you'll see as well. Now I'm not as triggered by everything. Yes, because there's a fear because of the abandonment that's happened before. And that's what this person does. They trigger that. So it triggers your abandonment, where it's like, where you're like, I want to control, where really spirit says, no, you have to release control. Because control is fear, and the focus is on, I don't really believe that it's going to work. And then boyfriend gets a kick out of it and does that nonsense where it's where this is where it's not really should be about control. It's about realizing that you're whole, that you don't really need this person, that emotionally there's the fear of, if this person leaves, then what is there? When really, if you were interactive in your life, you'd be getting attention from a lot of other people, where you'd be like, well, if it wasn't you, it'll be somebody else. And that's what you need to see, being like that we have no control. And the best relationships really are when people are able to, figure it out on their own. And so this person, if you want them to show you more, you can't be reactionary, because part of them is like, I don't need to show you more because you're constantly showing me like how much you care about me, and I'm not really that comfortable in like expressing my feelings, because of what's happened in my life. But it doesn't matter if that's still what you need. So again, then they get selfish, and you're like, well, I can't make them. Well, you don't make them, but what you do is that you're like, it doesn't matter if you give it to me or not, because I get it from everybody else. But I do notice that you don't give it, and believe me, they don't like that, because then they're like, wait a minute, like I could be replaced. I could be replaced by Juan. I could be replaced. I could, and it's like, that's what you're saying without saying it. You're like, it's okay. I don't need you to do it. It's like, but then it's also like what you're saying is, I know what I'm deserving of, and I know that I can get it. It's like without saying it, without being triggered. You never want to use words. The moment that you use words, it's like talking to the wall. It's not going to go anywhere. Thank you so much, Noble, for that. But that's really what it is. Otherwise, then you can't do it. Then what it is, it's like you're getting into a power struggle. Like, no, well, you should do this. And then you reenact and you're like, well, Mary down the block, her boyfriend and everybody else. And you sound like a crazy person. And then you feel like a crazy person because you're like, okay, I'm trying to convince this person to do the right thing, where it's like they acting like they don't know what they're doing, when I know what they're doing. And that's when you need to be like, you need to release control. And once you do that, then the person's like, well, why aren't you trying to control me? And then it's like, because I don't need to. It's like, and like I said, and then you really balance out the relationship. Then you see that this person is a little bit more insecure, that again, you're making them communicate. And trust me, if the relationship really is love, that we do it because we love. So I have a problem communicating. Well, guess what? Now that I'm not going to play that game, you're making that person do it. And so is it going to be perfect? No, it's not going to be perfect. A lot of what they say is like, it came out wrong, or it's again, and when you're going to see, oh, this is why we always had this issue of a block. But you're letting the person figure it out on their own. And that's what I feel like, that's what the control part is that when we feel like um, we can't let the person figure it out on their own. We have trust issues. And that also comes from being raised with somebody that also was controlling. So that's an inherited thing. But that happens because there's a fragmented piece of yourself that you don't know who you are. That spirit says, well, you shouldn't need to control. Look at all that energy that we're wasting. What are we supposed to be spending that time with? It's again, what's missing here? And you're like, passion, fun, stability, all of it. And spirit says, well, you're the one that's supposed to be giving yourself that. It's like, why are you asking this person to do it? And it's like, well, because they're supposed to, that's their job. And spirit says, that's how this reading started. It's like, no, it's not their job. Their job is to again love you, but they're gonna show you the way that they know how. And if it's real love, if it's unconditional, you'll be like, it's not exactly what I wanted, the frying pan for Christmas, or the vacuum cleaner, or, but I'll like, but I know that the heart was there, you know. Next year, I'll be sure to go shopping with the person to give them a little idea. It means that you have to teach them and not get triggered in the areas that they're insecure. But you're not making the person do anything because, hey, I don't need it from you. But guess what? At any given time, there's all these other people just waiting to give it to me. So understand, if I'm here, it's because I really love you. So you better rise up. Otherwise, you'll be replaced eventually, because life happens and I'm not controlling it, but I'm always going to do what's best for me, because I love me. It's like, I don't love you more than I love me. I love me. And so they have to earn that part. All right. That's the advice. Thank you, Noble, for that super chat. And thank you everyone for sharing your energy with me. And I will be on again. I'm going to be on my other channel in about an hour or so. So if you are connected to a Scorpio, you can find me there. All right, guys. I'll talk to you guys soon. Be true to yourselves. Remember that. Remember that. The kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Again, gotta love yourself first. Remember that. Bye.